Hey guys, your guy John coming at you with another Awaken Chaos Era video. Guys, so today's video, what we're going to be talking about is going to be all about the gear that's in the game, what gear you should be focusing on, what gear is going to help you progress the fastest, and what gear is going to allow you to make your fast progression and be the easiest to get. One other thing we're going to talk about is going to be the difference between round and turn. That is very confusing, and that'll also influence what type of gear you are using. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Woo! All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. This is going to be a lot of information. We're going to give it to you super fast. All right, so first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and start with explaining what a turn is and what a round is. The reason why I'm gonna do this now is because you will notice when we go through some of this gear will state that it lasts for a round. It will say for a turn. So I definitely wanna make sure you understand what that means before we move on to that topic. So for example, let's go ahead and let's pull up a champion here. Let's bring up our good friend Brand. He's part of the Magic Pass. If you saw my Magic Pass video, you can see that I highly recommend that you go get this guy. And let's go ahead and let's talk about his passive ability. Now, the difference between a turn and a round is going to literally be stated not really anywhere. But what I can explain to you and how I'm going to explain it to you hopefully makes a little bit of sense. So you will see here, this says, at the start of the turn, grants a shield worth 5% of this character's max health to all team members for one turn. Now, one turn means that when this character goes, it places the shield. When they go again, the shield is gone, right? So say that the teammate goes, their shield is gone. Now, a round is the sum amount of all four of your characters. So if we go out to a like an adventure mode here and we'll pull up a fight really quickly, and we see all four of these characters. Once all four of these characters have went one full rotation through, that is considered a round, and then the next turn, their next objective will be another turn. So effectively, all 8 characters so you're 4 from your side, 4 from the enemy's side, like for arena and other aspects of the game, need to go to constitute one round. That's why a lot of times you'll see where if you go super fast, you don't lap anybody. That's because all 8 characters or all characters on the battlefield have to go one time for one turn during a round. So I definitely want to explain that to you. Hopefully I explained that well enough to where you kind of picked up on it and that makes sense to you. Because that's what's going to trigger like what kind of gear that you really want to be using for each and every character. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the different gear sets. What's going to be the best one? I know a lot of you are looking for the fast progression. You're looking for the, hey, what can I get that's going to make me go and progress through the storyline. You said get the adventure done and then move on from there. So I wish we had a better breakdown so that way I could see all these without going into the dungeon to actually populate them. I wish I had just like a list that was like, hey, this is the gear and this is where you go find it. I wish they did have that. They have that for the index for the characters, but they don't have it for the gear. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to use the dungeon to actually pull them up. But really quickly, the best starting gear that you're gonna want to start with, and that's really gonna help you progress in the game, is honestly gonna be in this rolling tulpa section here. As you see here, I'll move it over here so you can see to the right of my head here. This Roaring Tulpa, this gives you gear. Let me move my head out of the way. Here, let's just move myself over to this general direction, guys. Rage gear is going to be very helpful right from the beginning because you're not going to be able to get that crit rate on any of your DPS characters. It's going to take you a little bit of time. Characters like Zatlux, characters like Elson only require 70% crit rate versus full 100 once they're ascended, so on and so forth. But general progression, Rage set is going to be your best friend. You can also get this in the adventure mode. I'm going to do a separate video that literally breaks down everything in the adventure mode, all the sets you can get, so on and so forth. That video will probably be later on. I'm going to try to spread these videos about gear out a little bit so that way you guys kind of get a little equipped and get a little bit of a understanding of what I'm talking about. And then I can just keep diving into, more advanced topics when it comes to these gear sets. But yeah, Rage is going to be the number one gear set that you're going to want right from the get-go. You get a lot of free Rage set from the events and from quests. Moving on, I would say the Terra set is going to be the next beneficial, and that's because what you're looking for at the very beginning is you're going to be looking for DPS, then you're going to be looking for HP. Okay, so you're not really worried about defense yet. You're really worried about survivability, and you're worried about clear. You want to be able to clear, right? So with that being said, to clear, what you need is your HP and you need your DPS. You also need your support units to have a lot of HP. So Terra and Rage Set are going to be the two most beneficial in the game. Right off the get-go, they're going to help you progress the fastest. Moving on, once you started to get a little bit of that kind of accommodated and acclimated, so on and so forth, and you've got, say a couple pieces of gear that are really, really good, and you've got them equipped on your main characters. The next thing you're going to start looking into, and what I think personally is one of the better pieces of gear to get, is going over here into the Queen of Tides. Now that you have some crit rate and you have some HP sustainability, now you're probably okay to go ahead and get into this Queen of Tides. So going over to Queen of Tides, you can see here you have Warrior Set, Curse Set, and Revival Set available to you. Warrior Set is amazing. It has attack percent. It's a set of 2. Curse Set, let's go ahead and read that. After attacking, there's a 35% chance to launch a bonus attack using this character's basic ability. Can be triggered once per turn. So this means once per turn, the character can go and do that extra attack. Well, the character only gets, 1 turn per round. So that's where the difference is. It's not for a full round. So if they were to do a counter attack, say for example, and they've already had their turn, well then this wouldn't apply because it's only once, right? So that's the difference is between round and turn. This set is very, very good. I highly recommend it. And we're going to talk about another set that's actually very, very impactful as well, but it's super hard to get. So we're going to talk about that here in just a second. Revival Set is pretty decent if you don't have a decent healer. If you are really struggling and you need some heals, Revival Set's going to kind of help you a little bit, but I wouldn't put too much stock into it. I definitely wouldn't be farming it. I wouldn't go super, super hard in it. But the piece of gear that's going to be similar to the Curse set of gear is actually going to be in this Witch of the Wind area, guys. It's going to be, I'm sorry. It's going to be in the Gemini Dragon. I don't farm these a whole lot, which is why I don't have a whole lot of them myself, but I'm going to go ahead and bring it up so that way you guys know. So when you scroll over to the Gemini Dragon, this is not an easy dungeon to complete here, unfortunately. I really wish it was, but it's kind of a niche dungeon. But this Rebel set here, Divine set. This character has 30% chance to launch a counterattack with their basic ability. Now, this set is going to be a little bit more forgiving, reliable. It really depends on what the situation is. So for this set, the character needs to take a hit. And you may say, okay, well, why is that any good? Well, they need to take a hit and they can do a counterattack with their basic attack, which is similar to Curse set. Curse set is when you're on the offense, you can keep doing another base attack. You can only do one base attack on offense, right? Divine set, however, notice it does not say anything about a turn. It does not say anything about a round. This character has a 30% chance to launch a counterattack with their basic ability. If they are getting hit multiple times, each time is a chance to proc a counterattack with their basic attack. Does that make sense? So, for example, Nathalia, she turns into a massive AOE damage dealer, but it's multiple hits. If you were to get hit by Nathalia and your character has a Divine set, well, each time they get hit and they receive damage or they just get hit, gives them the opportunity to proc and do their bonus attack. Same thing with bosses. So I want you to keep that in mind because this is going to be a very good one too. Gemini Dragon in general is going to be very good to farm and use anyways because you have this Rebel set as well. Attacks have a 20% chance to stun the enemy for 1 turn. Starting out, CC isn't going to be the biggest thing for you, but moving forward in like the Void Tower, moving forward, well, I shouldn't say all the way to the Void Tower because at a certain point in time, like stun's not going to be useful in that dungeon or that level, I should say. But it's going to be good, I think, in the long run to have some stun sets because I got a feeling they're going to add content that's going to really require it. Also, this guard set is really the ideal set for Nathalia. So if you notice, it's grants a shield equal to 30% of max HP for 3 turns at the start of battle. Bonuses from multiple sets do not stack. So literally it is only put 2 on, and it gives you a shield of 30%. This shield does count as a buff for Nathalia. So then once her passive, when she goes around and her A2 trait kicks in, that makes her automatically put on her other buffs and makes her an AoE damage dealer. This is one of the best sets to put on Nathalia along with Curse set. But that's going to be one of the best ones to start moving forward to. Now, keep this in mind. This is not like a boom, 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 boom. You're in it to win it. You're not immediately going for these pieces of gear. The two big things that you're going to be focusing on as a beginning player are really going to be these 3 dungeons right here. I am currently working on, I have a guide for Ask Magisteria, I have a guide for Queen of Tides. I'm working on my guide for Roaring Tulpa right now. These are going to be the main ones you're going to be doing, but I just want you to be aware of what other pieces of gear and what other gear sets that are worth it. So that way you can be mindful of this when you are, trying to pick and choose, like, hey, what sets do I want to keep or what sets do I want to throw away? When you're upgrading all of your gear, especially when you're farming a lot of your adventure mode, you don't really know, like, is this set any good? Here you go. Here's your example. And here's why. Moving on, Ask Magistrate. Ask Magistrate has 2 extremely powerful pieces of gear, and that's going to be Raider set and the Avera set. Now, Raider set kind of speaks for itself. Speed plus 15. Now, speed is not necessarily key in this game. You cannot lap your opponent. So you are controlled to 1 round for a fight. So that means with that 1 round, all of your teammates need to go, all the enemies players need to go. That constitutes a round. So you cannot lap anybody. So Raider isn't necessarily going to be the best set in the game. Now, granted, yes, it is very, very good for Arena because Arena is still all about the speed, but you can't overlap someone to where they don't get a turn. So this isn't the best set in the game to farm because you can't overlap anyone. Moving on, though, you have Avar set. Now, this is where, once again, you have the difference between round and turn. Grant this character 50% bonus damage when attacking over an area. Can only be triggered once every 1 round. This means if the character gets attacked and they have a counterattack ability, once again, this will not trigger if it's already triggered once. This also means if you attack somebody and they have AVR set on, they do a counterattack, this can proc, but then when it's their turn, for their actual turn for battle, they can't proc the AVR set because it's already been proc during the counterattack. So definitely keep that in mind. If you're going to use the AVR set, you want to be knowledgeable and kind of understand, okay, what rotation are they going to be going into, and if they have a counterattack. If they do have a counterattack, it probably isn't going to be the set you want on them, or you're going to want to position them correctly. Once again, it's not going to be a set you're going to want to go for right off the bat. This is going to be a very, very good set for characters like your Valerias and your AOE damage dealers. Not your splash damage dealers, just your AOE damage dealers. All right, moving on. Whew, we're almost through this, man. Next we're going to be talking about is the Witch of the Wind. What should you be doing in here, and should you be doing anything? So let's pull it up here. Now, this is going to be more towards your end game pieces of gear. I am just now starting to get really, really interested in these pieces of gear myself, and I'm level 58. Just now getting invested in it. So as you notice here, you have a 2-set Raptor set, which is plus 20% for focus. I have noticed that my characters like Azrina, my Scarlet, I have very, very good focus on them, but I'm losing so many stats because I gotta have it as a main stat on their pieces of gear. If I had better Raptor set though, I would not have to worry about this. I would already have that 20% boost in focus. I definitely shoot for anywhere between 70 to 80% focus on any of my characters. I should be focusing, I think, more for 100%, to be honest, but I'm not sure that what the actual threshold is as far as what you really need to hit for each dungeon. So this set is going to be super, super good, especially more in the end game. Moving on, Assassin set. Now, Assassin set, it's worded a little goofy, but if I'm understanding it correctly, and I've seen a few tests of this, I'm going to do some tests of my own. That'll be in a later video as well. Attacks have 50% chance to deal bonus damage of 35%. So what this means to me is this gets treated such as like crit damage. Like this to me gets treated that you have a 50% chance to deal a bonus 35% damage, which I would assume would be crit damage. I don't think it'd be true damage, and I don't think it's attack percent damage because they would say attack, an attack percent. I think this is considered critical damage. Let me know down in the comments down below if you've done tests already and you know what it is. But as far as I'm aware and what I've talked to a few other content creators about, I believe that this is actually critical damage. So you have a 50% chance. That's a very high probability, especially for your multi-hitters. So this set is really, really cool because if you already have a character doing like 200, 240% crit damage and you put this gear on them, they have a 50% chance of doing, 270 to 300% crit damage. And that just scales exponentially depending on how much attack they have. So this set is going to be super, super powerful. But once again, it's going to be more towards your end game because you need to have that crit rate to go along with it. So that way you don't have to use that rage set and you can try to avoid using a crit rate ring. All right, moving on to the last one. Faith. I think Faith is going to be one of the bigger sets to use for all of your healers moving forward. Healers always, everybody knows a healer is great. You always want a healer to be nice and tanky. Survivability is amazing. So yeah, you put healing on them, or you build them with really, really good HP defense, and usually they scale with their HP. Now the Faith set I really, really like because if you read it, it says converts 50% of healing provided into a shield that lasts for 1 turn. Now, this does not mean that that character does not get healed. That's not what it means. It literally means whatever the value of the heal is gets converted also into a shield. So it basically turns your healer into a shield, and that shield also counts towards like Nathalia's bonus. So keep that in mind. Is it the best set in the world? Probably not, but I do highly recommend it for most, if not all of your healers, other than like Connor. Connor is an attack-based healer. I would not say the Faith set's going to be very good for him because he really needs that extra attack to kind of scale with the damage. But yeah, guys, that's going to be the main thing as far as all the gear goes. I hope that explains it and clears it up a little bit for you, especially new players. Global launches happen. I know a lot of you are kind of going, man, I don't know what gear to be putting on these people. I don't know what I should be doing. I did name drop a few characters with a few sets they should have on. Definitely let me know down in the comments below if there's certain characters you want to see and want to know about with gear wise. I am working on a list. Next stream, we're going to be doing a list of all the characters and kind of what pieces of gear they should have and so on and so forth, as well as what stats they should really be going for. That's going to be a very live and active spreadsheet, so we'll probably do that maybe Thursday night, Saturday morning, and yeah, we'll keep working on it from there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like and subscribe, comment down below on your thoughts, and yeah, I can't wait to see you guys next time. Peace.